right, y'all, what's going on? Good people back again. Another Ravens preview right here on the Be More Show. Your host DJ back once again. Look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. And all my subscribers, appreciate y'all as well. Per usual. Do people even say? Anyway, I don't know. I was wondering about that. Like, I feel like no one really says the word subscribers anymore, right? Like, everybody's kind of like just subscribe, but no one really says like subscribers. It's always something else like members or, whatever, your flock or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, anyway, look, listen, let's talk. So the Ravens have the Rams this week. First things first, let's start with last week. All right, we got to start with last week because last week the Ravens just put on an absolutely embarrassing, disgusting, horrible, deplorable, awful performance. All right. And to lose in the way that they did, all right, to lose in the way that they did is so frustrating, y'all. Like, for me, look, it was my lucky week because I didn't even get a chance to really watch the game live, right? I had some other things I had to do. I did not get a chance to watch this game. And, of course, the game turned out in the way that it did. I'm not saying it was my fault. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But still, I didn't get a chance to watch it. So kind of lucky me, right? What's up, 86 Ghosts? How you doing? Look. Last week was absolutely just embarrassing. And I expected, honestly, back-to-back 40-point weeks. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me right now, but if I'm not mistaken, the Bills dropped 40 on us, or at least 38. I expected some heads to roll, y'all. I did. Like, I'm like, okay, look, listen, I get it. Heads got to roll, my friends. Heads got to roll. Zach Orr can be the first one out the door. I tweeted it. I'm like, let's start with Zach Orr. Okay, let's just start with Zach Orr. We're talking about back-to-back 40-point games. We're talking about a defense that's giving up more points than the entire 2000s Ravens defense throughout their entire run. That's bad, y'all. That's bad. I could have never expected this. I could have never expected this from this defense. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, for me, when I think about the Ravens and I think about defense, I'm like, okay, listen, right? If they're going to get anything right, defense is going to be 8 of them, right? We know they're going to get the defense right. If they don't ever get the offense right, ever in their history, the defense is going to be right, y'all. But I was wrong, okay? I was wrong about that one. And to see a team that honestly, like, okay, when it's Detroit, when it's Kansas City, okay, cool. I'm not happy about it, but it's at least semi-justifiable, right? You're talking about offenses that the Bengals, even the Bengals, right? When healthy. We're talking about offenses that can put up points like that, like it's nothing. Even the Rams. I'll venture to say the Rams, right? But the Texans, the way they played this season, like, this ain't even like rookie year CJ Stroud Texans. Like, this is like, we don't know who this team is, Texans. And they came out and completely dog walked the Ravens. And they made people leave. They made people check out of this game. Most of the time, like with the Ravens, like, you just watching to the end because you know they might do something, right? No, the last couple of weeks has been the same story. Absolutely nothing. Look, I appreciate that 86 Ghost. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Look, I hope you're enjoying yourself. The replay is always there, so you can always come back and hang out. But I appreciate you as always. Look, that was kind of the pure emotions of it. I was disgusted. I mean, I wanted to do a rapid recap, and I couldn't even venture myself to turn the darn camera on because I'm like, this is ridiculous, y'all. This is crazy. And like I said, I didn't really get the chance to watch it live, so it took me a little bit of time. Like, after knowing what the score was, after like peeking in every so often to see how they were doing, like, it took me a minute to really sit down and actually want to watch the game. I watched more people talk about the game than I watched the actual game because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is crazy. And just to see this defense just, I mean, they're just completely awful, y'all. That like the defense is terrible, and you expect, at least for me, I expect that at least the defense will get fixed. Because even last year, it felt like the defense got fixed. Was it perfect? No. But was it better down the stretch? Yeah. Was it better when you needed it to be? Yeah, except for when you get to the playoffs. Then, it's never that great then. But still, it's like, I don't know. It does have me questioning the depth of this team. It does have me questioning how good this team can be. Because here's the thing. And I think I put a little bit too much confidence in this offense last week because, I said, hey, like this team's going to be, this offense could be better with Cooper Rush as opposed to Lamar Jackson, just because I know how they change up the scheme and they'll do some different things and not necessarily have to rely on Lamar to make every play, right? And bail this offensive line out. So, I mean, I'm thinking, you know what? It might end up being better, right? It might end up being better. I'm like, it might. We'll see, right? And, I mean, I was pretty confident about it because I'm like, they're going to change it up a little bit. They're going to lean to Derrick Henry. They're going to do what they got to do. But it's like you got two bad guards. And the quickest way to get to the quarterback is right through the middle, y'all. A beeline straight to him. It's either unblocked or through the middle. And we know how these guards are. We know how this entire offensive line is. And it's crazy, man, because it felt like, honestly, let's be honest, it felt like I don't think Cooper Rush played that bad, right? I don't think Cooper Rush really played that bad. I really don't. I think Cooper Rush had some moments where it felt like, okay. Right? Okay, I can see some things there. And it kind of gives you a little bit of confidence going into this week, but it's still tough because the Ravens still have horrible, horrible, horrible play calling on third down. Right? So some things change, some things stay the same. Right? And that's one of them. The horrible play calling on third down. The penalties tend to just always be an issue, especially at bad times. And it's just like, you feel like the team is very frustrated at everything right now. And can you blame them? No. But at the same time, it's like, this is, while Lamar's out, this is the time you got to at least be trying to keep this team afloat, And I think, like, right now, my hope was 1-1 before the bye, try to go on a run after the bye, right? Try to go on a run after the bye. Maybe there's some coaching changes even with that, right? Especially on the defensive end, because I don't think Zach Orr's got it right now. I don't. Like, we saw Mike McDonald come in and struggle a little bit when he first came in, but after those first 4 games, like, that was it. It was smooth sailing, right? It was smooth sailing after that. So Zach Orr has had an entire season and a quarter of another, and a little bit over a quarter of another, really. And there's no true improvement. Or no consistent improvement, at least. And I think that's a problem. I really do. But anywho, let's jump into it. Oh, gosh. Let me just cut it off now. But let's jump into it. Ravens Rams. Week 6. Listen. This is going to be an uphill climb, y'all. Like most of the time, I have the utmost confidence in the Ravens, but I have to be honest with y'all. And I mean, honestly, like, let's be honest. I don't know if anybody's sugarcoating anything for y'all this week, right? Talking to the flock. I don't know if anybody's sugarcoating it for y'all this week, okay? No Lamar Jackson, so there's no magical plays to be made. Your run game struggling. Your offensive line struggling. Your defense is different. Do we have to even mention it again? Your defense is definitely struggling. And you going into, I don't know where they rank, but they probably got to be a top 5 offense in this league right now. Puka Nacua is eating everybody alive. Every corner he faces, he's eating them alive. Devontae Adams looks pretty good. Kyron Williams is doing his thing. Matt Stafford is staying consistent. It's an uphill climb, y'all. I'm not saying the Ravens can't win it. I'm just saying it's an uphill climb. I'm just saying it's an uphill climb. Okay? Because this offense is so good. This offense is so good for the Rams. This defense is so bad for the Ravens. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. It's not even rocket science at this point. It's that simple. This defense is really bad. and they're giving up 40 points to the Houston Texans, I can only imagine what could happen against the Rams. Now, do I want to repeat it from last week? No. Do I think they come out a little bit more upset? Yeah, I think so. I'll be honest with you, I don't care how much you got paid, right? I don't care how many contract extensions you got. I don't see anybody coming out and being like, dang, well, they put 40 on the defense that I led, so whatever, got my money. I just don't see it. You know, we talking about, and this is the perception at least, these supposed to be the highest of competitors. I can see them really getting a little bit more physical this week. And you're going to have to. With Puka Nacua, you're going to have to be physical with him, right? You're going to have to be physical. You have to get in his face. I know they got CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'll be interested to see how much he gets into. Because I know Jair hasn't really played his best ball. And that'll be interesting, too, to see how, you know, how things kind of mesh. But it's just kind of one of those situations. I want to see, because I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I want to see, curious to see who's on the injury. I was gonna say injury timeline. Is that a thing? Who's on the injury report though? Because I haven't really looked. But listen, y'all. Because I was wondering about Marlowe, really, right? I was wondering about Marlowe. So Marlowe's good. All right, Marlowe will be out there. So that'll be good. Awuzie's out. So that's kind of, honestly, that might be one of the bigger reasons too why CJ Gardner-Johnson, hang on, Tony Twister, CJ Gardner-Johnson is out there, right? It's because of, you know, injuries in the secondary as well. So it'll be interesting, y'all. It'll be interesting. And I see them pushing up Ben Cleveland on the injury report. I'm gonna show y'all this. we might have to play some conspiracy to have some fun for this week, okay? But listen, let me see if I can find it real quick so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So, what is this meme they got going on over here? They got a meme in the comments. But anyway, look at this. So they got Ben Cleveland up here, right? Ben Cleveland? Is this a note like, hey, wait a minute now? What might happen this week is we might have to make some changes, okay? We might have to make some changes. Let me look one more time. I'm just going to go down the list real quick. Because you got Awuzie. Oh, I switched the wrong damn one. Oh, there it is. All right, look. We got Awuzie. Awuzie is out. I'm just going to look at the ones that are out and questionable. The rest of them don't really matter because they'll probably end up playing anyway. But looking at it, Awuzie. I got to blow it up a little bit for y'all. All right, Awuzie is out with a hamstring. Zay is questionable. We don't need Zay to be questionable. All right, we don't need no more offensive issues. Okay, we just don't. All right, Zay is questionable. So we'll see about that one. Of course, Lamar's out. Emory Jones Jr. is out. I'll be curious to see if they move around some of these tackles too. Right? I'll be curious to see if they move around some of these tackles because at some point you got to make a decision at guard. Like Faalele is awful, right? And I mean, you got Ben Cleveland. He knows the offense. It's not like it would be anything crazy. Patrick Ricard is still out. Goodness. Roquan Smith is out? For real? Well, okay. Well, that's not good. And then Tez Walker's out. But like I said, when I tell you I've been checked out a little bit this week after that loss, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. A little bit checked out. Okay. But look, y'all. The Ravens, they got to do something, right? They got I was hoping they'd go 1-1, but this was the one I thought they would lose because we talking about this defense. We talking about this defense against the Rams offense. It's kind of rough, right? So I still got to hope for the 1-1, right? How do they do it? How, right? Y'all we gotta go back old school, okay? To what we know the Ravens to be. Before the Ravens were this electrifying, some of y'all might not, okay? Let me tell y'all a story, okay? Before The Ravens were an electric offense with fireworks and top fives everywhere and weapons. The Ravens had to play the run the football, play good defense game. And I think that's exactly what they got to do in this one, right? Time of possession. Now, I'm curious, right? I'm curious about what they're going to do with offensive line. I don't know why they haven't made any changes yet. I don't get it. Like, has it not been enough? Have y'all not seen enough to make some changes? Maybe I missed it because I told you I've been a little checked out. Maybe I missed it. Okay. I think Ronnie Stanley's good for this week. I mean, even if you put Joseph Noteboom in the why don't you let him run the go? Look, anyway. So, I mean, according to the depth chart, we going with the same crew that ain't done nothing the whole year. Okay, and I'm concerned. There's no changes being made. Nothing. There's no outside of injury that forces change. There's no changes being made by this team. So why should I expect anything different? I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity. Like, look, yo, the flock is insane. Okay, we're insane. We're insane. It's not us though. It's honestly not even us, because I don't think we're expecting different results. I think that's the funny part. I think this team is expecting different results, and they coming out here putting the same type of effort, right? They're putting the same 5 offensive linemen out there and expecting different results. So honestly, maybe I overreacted. The flock isn't insane. This team is insane right now. But anyway, look, no Roquan, so that's going to push probably Teddy Buchanan to kind of see a little bit more. I mean, he's seen a lot of action, but, he's probably become the main guy with Trent Simpson doing his thing. We might see a little bit of Higgins too, because I know he played well in the preseason. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Jeez Louise, this roster right here is hurting a little bit. And the times when you don't need to. But I mean, do got the bye week coming up, so it's kind of a perfectly timed bye week for the injuries that's going on right now. But we'll see. We'll see, y'all. Because I mean, the fear for me is going into this game, there's a lack of pressure up front. Honestly, the coverage ain't been that great either. And it's just concerning, right? It's just concerning. You got guys out for the year that really just make you feel like, man, like that's rough, right? That's rough right there. Because I mean, goodness. These Isaac out for the year. You talk about IR. These Isaac, of course, Broderick Washington, which I didn't even realize. I mean, maybe I just looked over it. Of course, now they met a BK. I don't know about Ardarius. I know it ain't technically on IR, but I don't know if even Ardarius as well as he played last year could say what's going on right now, because I think it's more schematically than anything than it is personnel. I don't even think the personnel is that horrible, right? I think you put Mike McDonald as the coach over this defense, I think you'd see better things. I mean, honestly, you probably could put Dean Pease over this defense. Like, I know he's around, but of course Zach Orr's making the final calls, right? Chuck Pagano, I mean, you brought him around for a reason. Like, you obviously didn't have that much confidence in Zach Orr. And I know I turned this into a rant, but jeez Louise, y'all. This is rough right now, okay? This is rough. But look, keys to victory, okay? We they got 1-1 through this stretch. Then you go on and run after the bye. That's hopeful thinking for me. Maybe not for y'all, because I know some of y'all want us to lose out, John Harbaugh to get fired. But what is really going to be funny, and this is a joke, so don't take it too seriously. But what's really going to be funny is if that actually happens and John Harbaugh stays, because they can be like, well, there was injuries and the defense was bad, so it wasn't necessarily John Harbaugh's fault, right? There's going to be some excuses there. But look, like I said, time possession football on the offense. On the offensive end, time of possession football. They got to play time possession, right? Lean into this run game, get the ball into Keaton Mitchell's hands, get the ball into Derrick Henry's hands, get the ball into Justice Hill's hands. If you got Ali, bring him in, shoot. Don't matter. Bring him in, let him run the football. lean into this run game and play kind of that, and this is where I was getting at earlier. That's what I alluded to earlier, right? Lean into that kind of that old school Joe Flacco offense that I hated so much. But look, you were playing with a backup quarterback, right? Lean into that. Lean into the fact that you do have a backup quarterback. He can make the throws, so make it easier on him. Lean into this run. Play time possession football. I don't know. I mean, it felt like they tried it last week, but it just, and you got to convert on third down. Geez Louise. This has been a problem all season long, it feels like. You got to convert on third down. You have to convert on third down. It's got to happen. All right. But anyway, defensively, is there any help for no help? Right? Title says must-win game in a no-win situation because, what do you do defensively? Can we bring some physicality back? Can we bring some physicality back defense? Like I'm cool with having help over the top. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being, I'm fine with blitzing when it makes sense. But let's put some hands on some people. Okay? Look, let's put some hands on some people. Get physical. Play press coverage. Play press coverage with and not even necessarily, it ain't got to be press, but geez, I mean, put some hands on these people. Puka Nacua, knock him around a little bit, right? Let's get physical again, okay? Come on. Let's get this defense back to where it needs to be, right? At least in mentality. The scheme might not be there because until Zach Orr's going on, I don't know if it's going to be there. But I think this defense needs to be physical again, right? It needs to be physical again. This defense has to be physical again. Make this defense physical again. It's got to happen. All right? That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. How about y'all? But that's how you win this game, right? The way you win this game, slow the game down. Do not let them get 40 points worth of possessions. No turnovers, right? You might have to go you might have to go no turnovers. Lean into the run game. This offense line. Lean into the run game. No turnovers. Lean into this run game. And keep and convert on third. Right? Convert on third. Avoid the big plays, y'all. Gotta avoid the big plays. Make them earn every single play. Make them earn every single yard. Right? And avoid this. I'm just gonna do this to make my avoid be actually too. But avoid this kind of softness on defense. Avoid this softness, okay? Let's get physical with these people, okay? Let's put some hands on some people. Let's lay some hands on some people, okay? Just telling you. It's got to happen. All right? Get physical with Puka. Get physical with Devontae. Get physical with Kyren Williams. He come out the backfield. Knock him around a little bit. Knock him off his ride a little bit. Make it hard on him a little bit. We'll see how this goes. Let that pressure get there, right? Let that pressure get there. Not that pressure's doing nothing, but let that pressure get there, okay? Let that pressure get there. You're allowed to be hanging out with us. She said, I would like to see this. See this. I'm so frustrated with this team. I can't even read right now. Shout out to you, Yolanda B. I'd like to see us lean into the run game too, but our O-line has to create lanes for running backs. Look, I'm going to hit the emoji with you. I agree. I think that's the tough part, I agree. But I think this is my thought process on the run game, right? My thought process on the run game. Lean into these stretch plays. And this is purely emotion. This is not based off of what I'm really seeing. This is a little bit of emotion, a little bit of analytical. Your guards are awful, right? Your guards are awful. The jury's out on one of your tackles right now. And you've also got injuries on the other tackle, right? So it's like, That's hard too. And I think also not having Patrick Ricard lead the way, I think has also hurt a little bit. But lean into those stretch plays again that we love to do with Derrick Henry, and he was able to break off some things. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Yonderby. I think that's an excellent point. Like, I would love to see us lean into this run game, and I'm kind of concerned too because they're not really doing that. But I think the other thing is too, like, I think they got to convert on third down, y'all. Like, because even watching the game last week, Cooper Rush, he did pretty well. Like, I know he had some turnovers that were kind of, ill-advised. He had some turnovers that were ill-advised. Now he's got pressure in his face and stuff like that. But he had some turnovers that were ill-advised. But I will say, when he felt like he had time and when he was, decisive with the ball, he was making the throws. So, I mean, that's probably another thing to avoid, too, the turnovers. You got to play a clean game, right? You got to play a clean game. And while you're playing a clean game, lean into this kind of time possession football. I think that's going to be the best thing. Like, lean into Derrick Henry. I mean, it's tough, right, because of this offensive line, but they're going to – I mean, that's the only way they win this game is if they can establish a run game that lets them play time possession football, right? And, I mean, this offensive lineman, like, get aggressive, right? Like, I mean, maybe I'm just like this might be the too oversimplified version of this preview this week because I'm kind of thinking like, hey, we talking about backups, we talking about injuries, but it's like sometimes when you're dealing with injuries, when you're dealing with some of these things, you just got to simplify things. And I think Mike Tomlin does a good job of this. I hate to give the Steelers any credit, but I feel like Mike Tomlin does a good job of this. Like, he simplifies. Sometimes you got to simplify things when you don't have the talent that you need to have. Now that might be the difference between John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. Tomlin has a little bit more, I feel like, control over what's going on, whereas I feel like sometimes Harbaugh doesn't. Right? Harbaugh's completely unaware of what's going wrong, even though it goes wrong over and over again. Right? So, realize what you got. You're dealing with injuries. Lean into your strengths. Your strengths is going to be the run game this week. So lean into that. Lean into that. Lean into those stretch plays. Lean into those toss plays. And let the best running back that we've seen after contact do his thing and play time possession football. That's all I got for y'all, okay? That's all I got. That's all I got. This week right here, my hope is I just want to see an inspiring effort. Right? I want to see an inspiring effort. I can't play this whole game of, well, we need to lose out so John Harbaugh gets like I can't play that game right now. Like, I'm too much of a fan to do it. Okay? This is not me thinking smart. This is me thinking emotional. I can't do it, y'all, okay? So I have to go with the fact that I feel like the Ravens can win this game in some form or fashion. Okay? I may be in trouble, but I have to go in that direction. Let's see what you'll be talking about. So I think the strength needs to be the tight ends. I agree. The security blankets, right? Like I was talking about before, like lean into that kind of like old school Joe Flacco offense where you lean on a run game. You lean on a run game, and then you built your passing game off of play action, and your security blankets were the tight ends. Right? Your security blankets were the tight ends. If you can establish a run game, then they have to respect the fact that you can run the ball. And I get it. These teams are going to say, well, Cooper Rush got to beat me. I get that. I completely understand that. I do the same thing as the defensive coordinator. Cooper Rush got to beat me. Right? I know Derrick Henry can. Cooper Rush got to beat me. So, like, yeah, I agree. Short, quick passes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, get the ball to Zay and let him do his thing. Right? Let him make some moves after the catch. Yeah, I agree. Short, quick passes. Keaton Mitchell. Like those are two guys. When we talk about short, quick passes, when we talk about yards after the catch, get the ball to some of your fastest guys, some of your guys with the most moves. And even, I mean, I say Justice Hill too, right? I say Justice Hill too, right? Because he can make some moves after the catch too. So, like, get the ball out quick. You might be utilizing your running backs a little bit more. Even Derrick Henry in that regard, right? But, I mean, I'm talking more so about speed because, you want to get as many yards after the catch as you can. But, I mean, Derrick Henry, of course, is going to bulldoze you as opposed to anything else. So that still works too. So, look, y'all, Look. 86 Hills got another comment. Hold up. I can't leave yet. Too many quick passes. Those corners going to jump on those routes. No, and I get that. But I mean, it's not, everybody can't run the quick routes. So, I mean, we're talking about levels concepts, right? We talking about, running some of those deep ends with, letting Bateman do kind of those. Y'all remember what OBJ used to do when it came to, for the Ravens, run those deep ends and he kind of be the second level in that regard. Like Yolanda B said, lean into those tight ends, right? You have good tight ends, lean into them. I mean, they might have to go back. I should say that. They might have to go back to the Greg Roman offense, okay? Lean into these tight ends, quick passing game, lean into the run game. I mean, I think it's possible. I just think, this is the thing. The hard part about feeling like this win is possible, y'all, is the defense, y'all. It just is. The offense, I'm not horribly worried about. I wouldn't be as worried about if the defense could get some stops. The defense has to find some way, by hook or by crook, to step up, because obviously this offense ain't scoring 40 points with the Rams. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Henry gets up to speed faster if he's the second fastest back to the line of scrimmage this year. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I misread that. He's the second fastest back to the line of scrimmage this year. Yeah, I mean, I think his acceleration is just fast. Okay. I mean, honestly, and I'm not sour on Justice Hill by no means, but I would almost rather the ball be in Derrick Henry's hands as opposed to Justice Hill. That's just my opinion. I do like Justice Hill, right? I do like Justice Hill. But I would much rather run this two-back connection with Keaton Mitchell. And I mean, I know Keaton Mitchell is the greatest blocker in the world, but I'm talking about especially in your passing situations, especially maybe on your first downs. I would rather get the ball to Keaton Mitchell and let him do his thing. Get the ball to Derrick Henry and let him do his thing. I get it. B2, but if our run game is stifled, we're going to have a plan B. Yeah, you're right. We're going to have a plan B if our run game is stifled. And what is that plan? What is that plan? But I think the other thing too is don't abandon the run game too fast, right? Don't abandon the run game too fast. I mean, Derrick Henry can't be sitting around with 6 carries, right? I mean, I don't care if the run game is stifled, right? Derrick Henry can't be sitting around with 6 carries. It doesn't work for this team. It doesn't work for this team when Lamar's in the game. I don't remember how many carries he had last week. I know it was a blowout second quarter, it felt like. But let me look real quick. So, yeah, 15. Ain't bad. 15 carries. About 19 carries for the running backs. I mean, I would honestly love to see more of that. I would honestly love to see about 30 carries for this team. I know, the averages for Derrick Henry, 2.2 yards a carry, Keaton Mitchell, 2.7, Justice Hill, 3 yards. I get it. I understand if the run game stifled, they got to do something else. But I think you still lean in on it. Lean in on it because it's kind of a threat until it's proven not to be. And Derrick Henry's going to always be a threat. He can always break one. We know he can always break one. So I think you still lean into it. I don't care if you got to give him 25 carries himself and then give Keaton Mitchell 5 and give Justice Hill 5. I would lean into it. But it kind of goes back to what I was talking about before. This defense has to do something, right? Now, some of those scores I feel like last week were because of turnovers. I will say that. Some of those scores was because of turnovers. But let me say this, and I got to get up out of here. But if you limit the turnovers, right? If you limit the turnovers, this defense has to get stops in some form or fashion, right? They have to get stops in some form or fashion. If that's slowing this offense down, that's going to help too, right? And I think part of it is when 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 you can just run down the field on this defense because there's miscommunication, there's no discipline. The scheme looks spotty. It's just not good. It's just not good. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Keep Stafford and Puka off the field, right? And I think that's where kind of the maybe even quick, kind of like 86 Ghost was saying earlier, quick passes as an extension of your run game. Maybe you go that route. Screenplays. Maybe you go that route. Get the ball to Zay Flowers on the screens and let him do his thing, right? Maybe that's where it goes. Maybe you even have like a Keith Mitchell line up wide. I don't know. I don't know if this is in his skill set or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Have him line up wide and run a wide receiver screen with him, right? Maybe I'm making up Madden plays at this point to try to win this game for the Ravens. I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but yeah, I think it's gonna be an uphill climb, y'all. I really do. Long story short, uphill climb. It's gonna be an uphill climb, but to win this game, kind of like Yolanda B said, shout out to her. Check out her channel as well. You gotta keep Puka and Stafford off the field. Right, get physical with Puka, I would say, and by hook or by crook, let's get some pressure on Stafford. Anything, like let's get back to trying to batten the balls down, something like that. Like anything, any sort of pressure they can get, you gotta have it. Because even when you can't get the sack, at least if you rush and lift your hands up, do something. Try something, anything, anything. We'll see what happens, y'all. We'll see what happens. Look, y'all, I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Look, 86 Ghost hanging out with us as always. Appreciate that as always. Yolanda B, appreciate you as well for coming by. I know you're pretty regular around here, so I appreciate that as well. Check out Yolanda B as well. I know she hangs out with Hendo and they do a lot of content together, a lot of great content. So check them out as well with Road Pod. So look, gotta get up out of here, but I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And like the video as well. But look, y'all, I'm not going to be too mad to do a rapid recap this week. I promise y'all. I don't care what happens. Okay, if they do like an 80. So, look, if they do something crazy, okay, I can't guarantee things I can't guarantee. But look, I'm not going to be too mad. Not going to be too mad. Okay, I promise y'all. All right, I promise y'all. Appreciate that, Yolanda B. I really do. I appreciate that. Look, but we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Be More Show. Until next time.